everyone, this is Tasha. I just wanted to kind of make a video sharing my story right now and also asking for help from whoever can help me and my little family out right now. So, as you all know, I was diagnosed with endometriosis in November 2015. But it's been a long journey before and after that. Ever since I was 19, that's when I started to experience the symptoms of endometriosis. And to kind of give you an idea of what that is, let's see. Well, it got progressively worse from 2009 all the way till now. For those of you who aren't aware, endometriosis is like an autoimmune condition, but it causes the inside of your uterus, the endometrial tissue, to grow outside of the uterus, and this causes a lot of complications and is very disabling. It's not life-threatening, but that I'm aware of, but it's very disabling and is a leading cause of infertility. So what are my symptoms? What do I go through? Well, it really ranges. At its worst, I have very bad PMS symptoms. I become very depressed, very anxious and emotional the week before. I also tend to get very bloated, like 3 months pregnant bloated, just huge bloated. I'm trying to remember some of my other PMS symptoms. The PMS is kind of improved, which is a relief, because it used to be where the week before my period, I was, not very functional emotionally, but also not feeling well physically at all. And then the week of my period, the first 2 to 3 days are the most painful. The pain, it's not uncommon for the pain to get to a level 10. And I've found different ways of managing the pain through medications, doing my best to stay away from narcotics, of course. So that's also been more manageable, but still very disabling. When the pain is at its worst, I'm not able to walk on my own. I need to be, I'm very weak and faint, and even when the cramping is over, I'm very sore, and it takes time to recuperate. So the week of my period, I'll often get very bloated, I'll get constipated, I'll have cramping in my stomach and my back, soreness, nausea. I deal with nausea almost every day that I eat, because it's very likely that the endometriosis has grown on my bowels, as I am stage 4 and have been dealing with it for some years. So it affects my digestion as well. It makes it really hard for me to eat, as I'm often nauseous the moment I start eating and I feel full. And it makes it hard for me to get my nutrients from my food, which makes it hard for me to keep on weight and maintain energy. So fatigue is something that I deal with all the time, just feeling tired, or, even right now, these last 2.5 weeks, I've been too tired to really even take care of myself. My husband has to make the meals and things like that. So it makes it difficult for him to go to work. In fact, he's unable to work. He has to be home with me. And so he's going to school and doing his best to work from home at this point to provide for our family. But as far as symptoms go, that's kind of the symptoms I told you about. My PMS symptoms, very debilitating when it's at its worst. My menstrual symptoms, that's when the condition is at its worst. My day-to-day, nausea, fatigue, cramping, It's very easy for the condition to flare up depending on how well my immune system is doing or how poor it's doing. And if I overly exert myself for even a few hours to a day, it can flare up. And when it flares up, what that means is the endometrial tissue kind of gets swollen and inflamed, and that causes my abdomen to swell, and that causes cramping and digestion problems, and as I said, very debilitating. And that can happen at anytime I overly exert myself, which is why I have been unable to work for the past year and am currently looking into disability to see what my options are for help. Because it is like an autoimmune disease, it makes it very easy for me to get sick as well. Flus, colds, styes. I've had a lot of styes and chalazions on my eyes, which are little like, it's where the fluid in your eyes is not draining correctly, and the follicles get infected and stuff like that. I've had lots of those over the past few years. I even had to have one operated on. So yeah, it's like being sick every day. I deal with symptoms every day regardless of whether I'm on my period or not on my period or I'm ovulating. I'm very sensitive. My body's very sensitive to changes. I've found supplements and alternative treatments that are really helpful in my condition, that really bolster my immunity, that really help me to feel better, that help me to be more functional. But therein it lies my dilemma. I'm unable to work. My husband is my caregiver and doing his best. We're living with family who are helping us out at the moment, and being able to pay for alternative treatments such as juicing, cleanses, supplements is very expensive. But with this condition, it's also what works best. So few doctors know how to accurately diagnose and treat this condition, and it's really a problem. The conventional treatments of birth control and surgery really aren't long-term solutions, and there are so many more cons than there are pros when it comes to these treatments, which is why I'm so careful. I'm currently looking into laparoscopy excision as a surgical option, just to get things cleaned out in my system, because I know that I have scar tissue and endometrial tissue and large blood-filled cysts on my ovaries, and I know that I need to take some drastic measures now that I have insurance, and I'm in the process of making sure my surgeon that I have right now is a specialist before I undergo the surgery. So that's pretty much where I'm at with my little family. And the reason I'm making this video, that's one other thing I wanted to mention. With this condition, I mean, there's so many more symptoms and it affects so many women differently. But with this condition, it causes internal bleeding. It causes scar tissue. It causes organ binding, where the endometrial tissue grows and connects organs, and all kinds of crazy stuff that you would never dream of. So I just wanted to make sure that, I help all of you, my friends and family and acquaintances, to just best understand the condition. It's really complex, and my husband and I have been doing research for years. We have tried many, many different options of treatment, and we have found, as I said, some treatments that work just the best out of all that we've tried so far, but they cost money, and right now it's a challenging situation for us, as you can tell, trying to keep our heads above the water, continue to be able to pay our bills, and improve my health situation so we can move forward. So I wanted to share everything that's going on with me and my family, and just so everyone knows, I would appreciate your prayers. and all of your encouragement. And if any of you are able to, please donate, funds. I'm going to create a GoFundMe campaign and list the link below this video where you can donate funds. All of the funds are going to be used for my treatment, buying supplements, buying cleanses, buying medications that, my current insurance doesn't cover, buying the necessary foods, as a lot of my foods are my medicine. I juice as frequently as possible, and this really aids in my digestion. So, whatever any of you can do to help, I would greatly appreciate it. My husband would appreciate it. My prayers go out to you, and I just want to say that I love you all, I care for you all, and I thank you for just being a part of my life, our lives, and this journey we're on. May God bless you, keep you, protect you, and draw you closer to Himself. Love you guys. Shalom. Peace.